Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I got another quick tip video and I'm going to show you what thinking outside the box can do when you're dealing with an axle that doesn't want to come out. Now before we go ahead and begin, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and definitely smash the like button because it helps channel out. With that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So in front of us, we are looking at what used to be the inboard stub that goes into the transmission for an axle. Now I was working on this vehicle and I have a lot of tools that can get stuck axles in, and all of them failed, not one of them worked. So I had to get creative. Now just to show everyone here, you can see that I pretty much wailed on this thing, tried to get it out. You can see all those marks. I tried everything I could and it just wasn't releasing. And once every method that I knew how to get this off failed, I had to pretty much get creative with it. And what I wound up doing was I found some bolts that I welded onto the stub shaft after I basically tore apart the whole axle and got all the grease out of it. And I welded those in the long ways, as you can see here, on my stub shaft. And then to that, I put a chain that we have here, and I welded that kind of centered in there. And this vehicle had a frame, so if the axle was sitting right here, the frame would kind of come out to about here. Then I took a old tire jack that I have, that you know, the screw jacks that normally most cars come with when you get a flat tire, and some pieces of wood, and I basically put them up on the frame, put the jack in there, and had the jack pushing on this chain. So just to kind of show you this, basically imagine this is all laid out and my jack is in the center, frame is here, it's supporting the jack, and I'm using the wood to leverage it, and I'm opening it up, and as the jack opens up, it's constantly putting pressure and pulling on this chain. Now that didn't loosen it up to the point where it would just pop out and came off easy, but once I had enough pressure on it, the little circlip that was seized had enough pressure pushing on it that it started to collapse and close up. And all I had to do was come in here with my air hammer and, you know, hit on it a few times, and I was able to get the axle to pop out. Now, axles can be very difficult, and a lot of you are probably asking, seems like you have to go through extreme steps to do this. Sometimes you got to do it. It is what it is. There's no debating that when you're a mechanic, sometimes you have to do some crazy things to get a result. Now, axles are difficult. The main reason why this one failed, because I'm sure a lot of you are very curious, if you look at the whole axle here, it's very rustic looking, but what had happened is it had a little bit of a seizure when it came to the flange here where it slides in, but this circlip was also overexpanded. Even right now the camera won't pick it up. You can see the gap there is pretty extreme that it has. And it just was refusing. It's almost like it's out of shape, and I'm pretty sure it was rusted in there at one point. When I pulled this out, it kind of had like a dirty, rustic kind of a look to it, kind of like it is now, although it looks a little bit darker now because I had sprayed some PB Blaster before I hit it with my air hammer that it penetrated through. But you can see this orange rustic amalgamation of stuff here that is all over my glove. This by far was the worst axle removal job that I ever had to do. It took me about an hour and a half of trying the conventional methods to try to get it off when I realized it wasn't going to work. And then I had to concoct this madness here, which thank God I rarely have to do it. And I was able to get it off. So all in all, it took me about 2 hours to 2.5 hours to remove this stub out of the car. For a second there, I thought that this transmission might have to get dropped and be taken in to get this looked at, but thankfully we were able to get it off without a hitch after we got a little creative with how we were going to do it. So I just want to make this quick tip video that if you run into an issue like this, sometimes depending on what you're working with, you have to concoct this sort of, I guess you can say, thing to get things to work for you. Now I'm not saying you got to do this to every axle, because I got fortunate enough that I had something to press the jack on while pulling on this chain or pushing on it. So that may not be the same case for you. So I just want to share this video and hopefully it helps you guys out. So that right there is the most excruciating axle that I've ever had to remove. I mean, it was a nightmare to say the least. But the whole point of this video is to just kind of share with you guys that sometimes you got to do stuff like this. You got to get creative to get things off. I'm not saying that this is always going to work for you and that every scenario is going to be the same, because it always differs. But this just kind of helps engage you into knowing that sometimes you got to go outside of the conventional way of thinking to get something done, and sometimes you wind up with good results like we did here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe because it definitely helps the channel grow. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.